The Hangover Part 3 is a interesting conclusion to the trilogy. This movie is funnier than the last. It wraps up everything in a nice bow. And it's a movie that I think is very well made. Don't know why this film got a lot of negative reviews, but this film's alright by me. This film follows the wolf pack once again as Alan's trying to get help after facing a personal crisis. You see in the beginning of the film, Alan tries to bring a giraffe home, but it accidentally gets killed. And then his father yells at him, and then he dies. So the group agrees, since Alan been off his med for 6 months, they're gonna take him to a personal retreat to get better. And then from there, all kinds of craziness happens. You see Marshall shows up, played by John Goodman, kidnaps the only reason because that Leslie Child was a problem for him for a long time. And they have 3 days to find Leslie Child and get his gold back. And from there, we got a pretty good film. I like this movie. It's funny. It is more darker than the last two films, like I mentioned beforehand. Everyone does a decent job here. Bradley Cooper seems that sometimes his acting is not on point. He's not bad by any means, but it's not like the best either. But everybody else, they did a decent job. John Goodman, even Melissa McCarthy shows up like near the end of the film. And this movie right here, it is an interesting take. You see, I like how they bring elements from the first film back. And then, not just that though, but it's not like a drunken thing where they had pieced together. I'm glad they changed the concept, because if they would have done it for this third film, then this probably would have been a horrible film. But I enjoy this movie. It is very decent in my opinion. And if anything, I think this was a film that a lot of people just hates on this film for no particular reason. I mean, this film's not that bad, people. It's a film that like I mentioned before, highly enjoyed. And this certainly is a movie that gets too much hate on. I mean, it's underrated. It probably is, but it's not horrible. It's not a horrible film by any stretch of the imagination. This film does focus on Alan a little bit more, considering it's the final film in the trilogy. And it makes sense. He becomes the man he should have been quite a long time ago. He finds Casey, falls in love with her, he gets married in the film. So this movie ends on a good note for the Wolfpack. Everybody survives. Leslie Child ends up saving them from Marshall. And, at the end of the movie, Alan's like, I can't hang out with you anymore, Leslie. You're bad and all that stuff. It is some interesting moments throughout this film. Funny, of course. Not funnier than the first film. It's hard to top the first movie. I mean, the third film, it does an alright job with the laughs. But I felt like with the first one was more funny and not too serious. This one is serious. Still funny nonetheless. Check this film out if you've never seen this movie, because I think it's well worth your time. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. I do think this film's decent. It's not horrible like a lot of people said over the years. And it was nice to go back and rewatch this film, because I had forgotten about the mid-credit scene. And I felt like maybe a fourth film could happen, but I'm kind of glad they never did a fourth movie, because it was undone, everything that happened in this one. This film is all about tying up loose ends. Alan gets married in the film. He's happy. The wolf pack breaks up, as Alan says himself. He's going to spend more time with Casey. And, it makes sense. This is a film that is entertaining, I mentioned beforehand. And is a movie that ends on a very good note for this trilogy. And that's my review of The Hangover Part 3. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this film. Do you love it, hate it, or in the middle? Do you wish there was a part 4, or are you satisfied with how this trilogy ended? In my personal opinion, I'm glad a part 4 didn't happen, because it would have ruined what was going on in this film. Alright, this is Film Guy 172 saying, peace out.